I believe strongly that Netzach Yisrael lo yishacher, that the Jewish future is secure. Am Yisrael chai v'kayam.
Thank you, Erwin, for joining us this evening and for the way you continue to lead the fight against hatred in Canada and around the world. Now, we will listen to our special guests from Israel. To introduce them, I'd like to welcome Yael Ben-Dat Appel to the Bima, UJA's VP of Jewish Education and Engagement, who will tell her own family story about what they're experiencing and introduce our guests tonight. Yael?
Good evening. My name is Yael Ben-Dat Appel, and I was invited here tonight to share my family's personal connection to the unfathomable horrors that have befallen our Israeli brothers and sisters. Ours is one story of so many. During the massacre of October 7th, my second cousin, Adi Vital Kaplun, a 33-year-old Israeli and Canadian citizen, was murdered in her home on Kibbutz Cholit. For the first 4 days of this nightmare, however, we thought that she had been taken hostage. One of the reasons we thought she had been abducted was that Adi's two very young sons, Negev, a 3-year-old, and Eshel, a 4-month-old, had been taken at gunpoint to the border of Gaza, along with another woman from the kibbutz. They were used as human shields through the kibbutz and to the border. For some reason, the terrorists abandoned the 3 of them at the border, and Adi's neighbor was able to heroically bring the boys back to Israel and back to the safety of their father's arms. He had been out of the house on a morning hike at the time of the attack. The 3-year-old had a gunshot wound to his leg. Yes, he was made to walk to Gaza on his injured foot, and the baby had inhaled so much smoke from the fires that raged on the kibbutz and the gunshots all around him that his face and lungs were covered in black soot. They have since both undergone medical treatment, and they're physically okay. The fact that these 2 tiny boys are alive is a miracle. After a grueling 4 days, Adi's body was found in her kibbutz as soldiers searched for remaining terrorists. The door to her safe room, in which she had been hiding with her 2 sons, was riddled with gunshots. We now know that she was killed in front of her children. Her body had been stuffed under a bed and booby-trapped with bombs. It is another miracle that her father, Yaron, who ran to her home to look for her on the day of the attack, was not able to find her. This experience, particularly the days in which we thought she was a hostage, gave brief insight into the experience of the families here tonight and brings our focus to this particular cause, the hostages. The following is a vivid memory I have from my childhood. When Natan Sharansky was in a Soviet jail because of his Jewish faith, my father wrote a handwritten letter to Sharansky every single day for a prolonged period of time. Why did he do that? Because he understood how essential it was, even with the near certainty that Sharansky would likely never receive a single one of those letters, that any person who made contact with those envelopes along the way knew that Sharansky was not forgotten, that his life mattered to the Jews of the world. All the more so if Sharansky were to receive the letters, he would have known that he was not alone, that he was remembered by his fellow Jews. Those are our values. This is Jewish peoplehood. We show up, We speak out. We care for one another in good times and in times of suffering. In this spirit, on behalf of the 240 hostages in Gaza, it is essential that we continue to cry out loud so that the world hears unmistakably, loudly and clearly, the message that every single hostage in Gaza matters to us. We call out to them, saying, "You are not alone. We will not shift our gaze away. We will not give up on you." We have heard over and over again the phrase, "Ein milim." There are no words. No words to describe what has transpired these past few weeks. And yet our guests, these incredibly courageous families, in an effort to do everything they can to secure the release of their loved ones, have found milim. They have found the strength to put their experiences into words. We are here to support them, to hear from them, and to do everything we can to ensure that their precious family members and all of the hostages are brought home, b'mheira b'yameinu, speedily in our days.